Shall I start? Okay, sir. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Abhishek Kumar, Professor, Applied Science Department, Dr. Ken Mike Engineering College, Modinagar. Wish warm welcome to our Honorable President, Dr. D.K. Modi, sir, our mentor, Professor R.K. Khandal, sir, all directors, HOD, and faculty members under the umbrella of Ken Modi Foundation. Today, I am going to conduct a webinar on quantum mechanics relevant of nuclear physics and energy science, along with three students, Soumya Singh, computer science second year, Sunidhi Kumari, computer science second year, and Vijen Sukla, mechanical engineering second year. I would like to call Soumya Singh to start her presentation. Soumya Singh.
Yes, sir. Mr. Wade, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so my screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the opportunity to present this webinar. Good afternoon, everyone present over here. Thank you so much for joining us today in this session. I, Soumya Singh, student BTech second year CSE. So today we are here with the topic quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics relevant of nuclear physics and energy science. So coming to the next slide. What is quantum theory? Quantum theory is the theoretical basis of modern physics that explains the nature and behavior of matter and energy on the atomic and subatomic level. Planck wrote a mathematical equation involving a figure to represent these individual units of energy, which he called quanta. So now, what is the relationship of energy and matter? Energy is a property that matter has. The same amount of matter can have different amount of energy and so represent different states of matter. For example, if you add energy to an ice cube made of water, it becomes liquid water. And if you add even more energy, it becomes steam. So the question arises here, does all matter have energy? Yes, everything in the universe is made up of matter and energy. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Matter describes the physical things around us, earth, the air you breathe, and many things. Now coming to the next slide, we have energy engineering. So what is energy engineering? Energy engineering or energy system is a broad field of engineering dealing with energy efficiency, energy services, facility management, plant engineering, environmental compliance, and alternative energy technologies. Although an energy engineer is concerned about obtaining and using energy in the most environmental friendly ways, their field is not limited to strictly renewable energy like hydro, solar, biomass, or geothermal energy. Energy engineers are also employed by the fields of oil and natural gas extraction. Now coming to our next slide, different form of energy. So the different type of energy include energy, radiant energy, nuclear energy, electrical energy, motion energy, sound energy, elastic and gravitational energy. But here we will be discussing about four main forms of energy. That is electrical energy, chemical energy, mechanical energy and electromagnetic energy. So first we will discuss about electrical energy. Electrical energy. Electrical energy is a form of energy resulting from the flow of electric charge. Energy is the ability to do work or apply force to move an object. The movement of charged particles through a wire or other medium is called current or electricity. So now our next is chemical energy. Chemical energy, energy is stored in the bonds of chemical compounds. Chemical energy may be released during a chemical reaction, often in the form of heat. Such reactions are called exothermic reactions. The chemical energy in a battery can also supply electrical power by means of electrolysis. Now here we have mechanical energy. In physical sciences, mechanical energy is the sum of potential of energy and kinetic energy. It is the macroscopic energy associated with the system. The principle of conservation of mechanical energy states that if an isolated system is subject only to conservative forces, then the mechanical energy is constant. Electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic is a form of energy that can be reflected or emitted from objects through electrical or magnetic waves traveling through space. Some examples of electromagnetic energy are gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrared, and etc. Now coming to the next slide, sources of energy. As we all know, there are two main sources of energy, that is conventional source of energy and non-conventional source of energy. Here we have the basic difference between conventional source of energy and non-conventional source of energy. These are generally exhaustible and polluting. They are non-renewable. Their generation and use involve huge expenditure. Some examples of conventional source of energy are coal, petroleum, firewood, and etc. Non-conventional source of energy. These are usually inexhaustible and non-polluting. They are renewable. Their generation and use involves less expenditure. Some examples are solar, wind, tidal, atomic energy, and nuclear energy. Now coming to the next slide, conventional source of energy. These sources of energy are also known as non-renewable source of energy. These are the sources which cannot be regenerated, or we can say that their reserve is limited, and hence they are also called as exhaustible sources of energy, as once they are used, they cannot be made again. Now coming to the next slide, commercial sources of energy. The coal, electricity, and petroleum are the commercial energy sources since the consumer needs to pay its price to buy them. So what is coal? Coal is a combustible black or brownish black sedimentary rock with a high amount of carbon and hydrocarbons. Coal is classified as a non-renewable energy source because it takes millions of years to form. Coal contains energy stored by plants that lived hundreds of millions of years ago in swampy forests. There are more than 1,48,790 coal deposits in India. In between 2005 to 2006, the annual production went up to 343 million tons. India is the fourth largest coal producing country, and the deposits are mostly found in Bihar, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, and Bengal. Oil and natural gas. Oil, crude oil, is a non-renewable fossil fuel. It is formed when heat and pressure compressed the remains of plant, animals, and aquatic life under the bed of the sea or lakes for millions of years, thus becoming fossil fuels. Today, oil is considered to be liquid gold and one of the crucial sources of energy in India and the whole world. Now coming to electricity. Electrical energy is energy derived from electric potential energy or kinetic energy. When used loosely, electrical energy refers to energy that has been converted from electric potential energy. Now coming to our next slide. That is the major sources of power generation. The two major sources of power generation are thermal power plant and hydropower plant. So this is the picture of thermal power plant and this one is the hydropower plant. Now we will discuss about the thermal power plant. What is thermal power plant? We all know in thermal power plant, the heat energy is produced by burning fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, fossil fuels like or natural gas is used to heat water and change it into steam, which rotates the turbine of generators to produce electricity. Now, we can now have a look at this pie chart. This is the pie chart of electricity generation by different power sources in India. Now, if we look closely to this pie chart, we will find out the major contribution of the electricity generation is done by fossil fuels. 59% of the total energy is being generated by coal, and rest 10% of energy is generated by either natural gas or oil. Now coming to the next slide. Now we will be understanding the diagram of thermal power plant. So the working of thermal power plant which majorly contributes the electricity generation in India. Now, the basic principle of electricity generation in thermal power plant is similar as rest of the power plants. The turbine rotates, and the generator produce the electricity. In every case, we need some sources to run the blades of the turbine. Now, in case of thermal power plant, this thing and this purpose is being produced by steam. So now let's understand the complete working of thermal power plant. So here we can see the diagram of the thermal power plant. Firstly, the coal is burned in the boiler. And by the burning of coal, a lot of amount of heat is being produced. Now the flowing water inside the turbine takes up release heat and convert it into steam. Now this steam is then stored and taken to high pressure. As this high pressure steam is released, it strikes the blade of turbines and the turbine rotates. The generator attached to turbine also rotates. And you know very well, on magnetic effects, we had seen that as the shaft of the generator rotates, it produces electricity. Now coming to some advantages and disadvantages of the thermal power plant. So some advantages of thermal power plant are the fuel used in thermal power plant is quite cheap and available in abundance. It requires less space as compared to hydropower plants. The thermal plants can be placed near load centers, unlike hydro and nuclear plants. Steam plants can withstand for overload for certain extent. Now, some disadvantages of thermal power plant. It pollutes the atmosphere due to production of large amount of smoke and fumes. The fuel is non-renewable resource. In the thermal power plant, we need a huge requirement of water, higher maintenance and operational cost. It is costlier in running cost as compared to hydroelectric plants. Now we're coming to the hydropower plants. What is hydropower plants? In hydropower plant, water from rivers are stored by constructing dams. The water from the dam flows down through pipes and rotates the turbine of generator and produce electricity. So here we have the picture, this is the picture of hydropower plant, and this is the diagram of hydropower plant. So now you might have seen near the shore of a river or sea, many of things are flowing with the water. Now in rainy season, you might have made a paper boat and put it in the rain. The moment we put it in the rain, what happens? The water takes the paper boat away with it. So by looking at these examples, we can infer that moving water has energy in it, and this energy is due to cause of motion called kinetic energy. Now just imagine if if we in place of paper boat, if we put little turbine, what will happen? Then the moving water will rotate the blades of the turbine. We can get electricity due to that. So we can say that the kinetic energy of the water will get converted into electrical energy, and this is the basic principle of hydropower plant. So now we have some advantages and disadvantages of hydropower plant. So what are the advantages of hydropower plants? So the flowing water is a renewable source of energy. The water stored in dams can be used to control floods and for irrigation. The electricity produced does not cause pollution. Now, some disadvantages of the hydropower plant are the initial cost is very high. L- Large areas of land get submerged and the decomposition of produces methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas. It causes displacement of people from large areas of land. Now this is all from my side. Now my friend Sunidhi will continue this session. Thank you so much. Sunidhi?
Okay. Thank you, Soumya. Good afternoon to one and all present over here. I, Sunidhi Kumari, a student of BTech second year from Computer Science branch, here to continue some rest part of the presentation. So, I start from non-conventional sources of energy. First, we have to know what is non-conventional sources of energy. Okay. Can you imagine a car that run on the water or one that run on the power of the sun? Well, the truth is you might have to get used to such wacky ideas. The planet is rapidly running out of the conventional fuel, and non-conventional sources of energy are becoming our future. Natural resources like wind, tide, solar, biomass, etc. generate energy, which is known as conventional energy resources. And energy produced from these resources are non-conventional energy resources. Okay, coming to the next slide. Here we have some example of non-conventional energy. We can say first one is solar energy, second one nuclear energy, third one biomass energy, fourth one wind energy, fifth one ocean thermal energy, and last one geothermal energy. Now I am going to discuss some important non-conventional energy resources. Okay, coming to the next slide. So first, solar energy. Solar energy is the most abundant energy resources on the earth. It can be captured and used in several ways, and as a renewable energy sources is an important part of our clean energy future. Solar energy comes from the sun and can be captured with various technologies, that is solar panel. The photovoltaic effect is the mechanism by which silicon solar panel harness the sun's energy and generate energy. The sun does more than for our planet than just provide light during the daytime, which particle of the sunlight, that is photon, that reaches Earth contain energy that fuel our planet. Solar energy is the ultimate source responsible for all of our weather system and energy sources on the Earth, and enough solar radiation heats the surface of the planet each hour to the theoretically fill our global energy needs for nearly an entire year. Okay, coming to the next slide. Solar cell. Here we can see pictures of solar cell. Now, solar cell converts light into electrical energy. Traditional solar cells are made from silicon. Second generation solar cell made from amorphous silicon or non-silicon materials such as cadmium telluride. And third generation solar cell are being made from variety of new material, including solar ink, solar dye, and conductive plastics. A solar cell or photovoltaic cell is an electrical device that converts the energy of light directly into electricity by the photovoltaic effect, which is a physical and chemical phenomenon. It is a form of photovoltaic cell defined as the device which electrical characteristics such as current, voltage, or resistance vary when exposed to light. Individually, solar cell device can be combined to form module, otherwise known as solar panel. Here we can see solar cell diagram. Look at the picture. Upper layer of upper layer covered with glass layer, and there is used metallic conductor strip for conduction. It has three layers, that is n-type silicon layer, depletion layer, and p-type silicon. N-type silicon layer having negative hole and p-type silicon layer having positive hole. This makes easy to flow electricity. Now coming to the next slide. Generation of solar power. Solar power is the conversion of light into electricity, either directly using photovoltaic or indirectly using concentrated solar power. Photovoltaics convert light into electric current using the photovoltaic effect. Solar radiation may be converted directly into a cell. In such cell, a small electric voltage is generated when light strikes the junction between a metal and a semiconductor, such as silicon, or the junction between two different semiconductors. Single photovoltaic cell is typically only about 2 watts. By connecting large number of individual cells together, however, as in solar panel array, 100 or electric power can be generated in a solar electric plant or in a large household array. Here we can see how sun radiation captured by solar cell. We have to talk about how solar power generates. Look at the diagram. Solar cell captures the sun radiation, and charge controller helps to store DC power in the battery. And after that, inverter inverts the DC into AC, and then we use it electricity in our home for electrical appliance. Now, coming to the next slide. Here we have some applications of solar energy, that is solar cooker, solar water heater, agriculture and horticulture, rural electrification, electrical generation, and last one is solar lamp and lighting. We have to discuss some applications. So coming to the next slide, first one is solar cooker. Here we can see the diagram of solar cooker. The box type solar cooker has an insulated box paint, black inside. Here we can see in the diagram. It is covered by a glass plate which allow heat to enter inside but doesn't allow heat to step out. It has a mirror. Here we can see to reflect more sunlight into the box. The food to be cooked is kept in container inside the box. It can be produced at temperature of about 100 to 140 degrees Celsius. Now, coming to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, solar water heater. A solar water heater has an insulated box painted black inside with a system of copper tube. It is covered with a glass plate which allows heat to enter inside but doesn't allow heat to escape out as like the solar cooker. When water flows through the copper tube, Here we can see cooperative, white color cooperative in this diagram. It absorbed heat and become hot. Now coming to the next slide. India's solar resources. Look at the data. Here in this chat, we, we can see how much electricity uh, is produced in which country of India. From this chart, it is clear that Gujarat produces much more solar energy, that is 49.9%, Rajasthan 38.89, Madhya Pradesh 9.15, Andhra Pradesh 3.18, Maharashtra 1.38, Tamil Nadu 1.14, Odisha 0.99, Uttar Pradesh 0.91, Karnataka 0.69, and last one is Punjab 0.69% also. Okay, coming to the next slide. At last, we have to discuss its advantages and disadvantages. Solar cell having more advantages than disadvantages. That's why it prefer much more than other sources of electricity production. So first we have some advantages. It uses renewable of sources of energy. It produces electricity which doesn't causes pollution. It can be used in remote area where there is no power supply. It reduces electricity bill. It has also low maintenance cost and it's a technology development. Okay, we have some disadvantages. It uses a special grade of silicon, which is a very expensive. Since silver is used for connecting the cell together, it is more expensive. The current production is DC, and to convert it to AC increases the cost. It uses lots of space, and also it is a weather dependent. Now, coming to the next slide, now we have to talk about nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is made in power plants by splitting the nuclei of heavy atoms such as uranium. This splitting of nuclei releases a very large amount of energy. Nuclear energy, also called atomic energy that is released in significant amount, is a process that affects atomic nuclei. The dense core of atom, it is distinct from the energy of other atomic phenomena such as ordinary chemical reaction which involve only the orbital electrons of atom. One method of releasing nuclear energy is by controlled nuclear fission in device called reactors, which now operate in many parts of the world for the production of electricity. Another method for obtaining nuclear energy, controlled nuclear fission, holds the promises but has not been prepared by 2020. Before detailed explanation of production of energy sources, let's know some terms related to nuclear physics. So coming to the next slide, uranium. Uranium is a heavy metal which has been used as an abundant source of concentrated energy for over 60 years. Uranium occurs in the most rock in concentration of 2 to 4 part per million and is as common in the earth crust as tin, tungsten, and palladium. Uranium occurs in seawater and can be recovered from the ocean. Now, coming to the next slide, Einstein energy mass equivalence. We all know that Einstein formula, which is E equal to mc square. In 1905, Albert Einstein publishes his second measure theory called the energy mass equivalence. Looking closely at Einstein equation, that is E equal to mc square, E means energy, m means mass, and c means speed of light. We see that he postulated that mass hold an enormous amount of energy within itself. We call this energy binding energy or rest mass energy, as it is the energy that holds the atom together. When it is at rest, the large amount of energy comes from the fact that the speed of light is squared. Now, coming to the next slide, mass defect. Here we can see formula of mass defect, that is delta M equal to ZMH plus A minus Z into Mn minus capital M. The nucleus of the atom is held together by a strong nuclear force. The more stable the nucleus, the more energy needed to break it apart. Energy needed to break the nucleus into proton and neutron is called the binding energy. Einstein discovered that the mass of the separated particle is greater than the mass of the stable nucleus to begin with. This difference in mass is called the mass defect. Now, coming to the next slide. Strong nuclear forces. The attractive force that holds the nucleus together, without it, the electrostatic force could cause the nucleus to fly apart. It acts on short range, only a couple of Hermes. It always attractive. It doesn't act on electrons. Now, coming to the next slide. Nuclear energy has been released by two ways, that is nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. This is the separate diagram of nuclear fission and nuclear fission. Now I am going to explain one by one. So coming to the next slide. First one, nuclear fission. In nuclear fission, the nucleus of an atom such that that of uranium breaks up into two lighter nuclei of roughly equal mass. Here we can see in the diagram, it is clear that uranium atom split into two parts and two smaller nuclei, that is barium and krypton. The process may take place spontaneously in some cases or may be induced by the excitation of the nucleus with a variety of particles, example, neutron, proton, deuteron, or alpha particle, or with electromagnetic radiation in the form of gamma rays. In this fusion process, a large amount of energy is released. We all know that famous nuclear weapon, that is atomic bomb, device designed to release this energy in an explosive manner, such as a result of nuclear fission. Now, coming to the next slide, and second one is nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion reaction involves the combination or fusion of two light atoms to form a heavier element and releases uncontrollable energy. Here we can see in this diagram two or more atoms combine to each other. Thus, it can't be used to generate electricity unlike fission reaction. Did you know that the sun's energy is generated by nuclear fission reaction? Fusion reaction. The heat and light that we get from sun is all due to the continuous reaction going on inside it. We can now imagine how much energy would be released in the nuclear fusion reaction, that it is the source of sun's energy. Now we have to discuss how nuclear energy produced in reactor. So coming to the next slide. Okay. And this is the systematic diagram of nuclear fission and fission reaction. Look at the diagram. Here we have nuclear reactor, condenser, turbine, cooling water, electric generator, and finally it produced electric used for transmission line. And for explanation of this process, coming to the next slide. How nuclear energy is produced? Nuclear energy is created through a mechanism called the reactor. The power source is the heat produced by a controlled nuclear fission chain reaction either by uranium or plutonium. This reaction involves an element such as uranium being struck by a neutron and splitting. The result of the fission of this large atom is the creation of new, smaller atom as byproduct radiation and more neutrons. Those neutrons speed out and strike other uranium atom, creating a chain reaction. The chain reaction in a reactor is controlled by neutron moderator, which vary depending on the design of the reactor. This can be anything from graphite rod to simple water. Once the heat has been released, a nuclear reactor produces electricity in exactly the same manner as any other thermal-based power plant. The heat converts water into steam, and the steam is used to turn the blade of the turbine, which runs the generator, and finally electricity produced. Okay, now coming to the next slide. Here we have some interesting facts about nuclear energy. We, do you know that nuclear energy is used to generate around 11% of the world's electricity, which almost no greenhouse gas emission. A single uranium filled pellet contains as much energy as 480 cubic meter of natural gas, 807 kilos of coal, or 139 gallons of oil. Nuclear energy is used by more than 30 countries around the world. Nuclear power plant can generate electricity continuously for many months at a time without interruption. Now, coming to the next slide, we can see in this India map where nuclear power plant established to produce energy. That is Madras, Tega, Kakarpura, Rajasthan, Narora, Kanpur, and Tarapur, and so on. We can see coming up. Now, coming to the next slide. This graph shows nuclear energy generation in 2015. From this graph, it is clear that a huge amount of energy produced by France, but less amount of energy produced by India. We can see which is situated at the fourth number from the right hand side. We can see in this graph. Okay, now coming to the next slide. We have some advantages and disadvantages. So, first one, we have some advantages. Nuclear power plant bring jobs and prosperity to a country. It provides the world with the most of its electricity. Not many nuclear have happened. Natural disaster causes more damage. It's good for economy. Lots of energy is produced from a small amount of uranium. It doesn't emit carbon dioxide gas, that is greenhouse effect. It generating electricity from nuclear energy causes little pollution. And now we have some disadvantages. Its storage is a huge problem. The waste is very dangerous. It is radioactive. Nuclear power plants are very expensive to build. Now, coming to the next slide. Okay, this is all from my side. Now, I would like to call Vijayan Sukla to continue further presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Vijayan Shukla, student of BTech second year, mechanical branch. Now, today I will discuss about what is biomass and biogas and how OTC plant work. Let us first talk about what is biomass and biogas. From ancient time, People using cow dung and farm waste as a fuel to cook their fuel. And till now, it has been used by many of the countries, but it is not effective source of energy because its efficiency is very low and produce lot of smoke, which is harmful for us and our environment. So, a question is arise: can cow dung and farm waste be utilized as a good source of energy? And then answer of this question is yes. By setting a biogas plant, we can convert biomass into biogas. Con- Coming to next slide. Now, as shown in figure, to make a biogas plant, first of all, a hole is drilled into the soil and such type of arrangement is formed. Now, we take one part of cow dung and farm waste and three part of water, and this mixture is known as slurry. When slurry fed into the digester, let's talk about some digester. Digester is a closed chamber where oxygen is not present. Hence, in digester, anaerobic oxidation takes place because cow dung and farm waste contain microorganisms which can be activated when they get environment of no oxygen present. Hence, when we fed slurry into the digester and oxidation takes place and organic substance decompose into the simple substance. After some time, gases like methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and hydrogen sulfide are released. And after some days, it becomes a continuous process. So this mixture of all the gases known as biogas, which is composed around 75% methane, and hence it acts as an excellent fuel. Now this mixture moves to gas tank. Through this gas tank, it has been supplied through a pipeline. The slurry which is left out after decomposition contains phosphorus and nitrogen, which is supplied in form as manure. So now you can see this. By setting a biogas plant, we get a very good source of fuel, that is biogas, and additionally we also get a source of manure. Let's talk about today. Today biogas is used as a fuel and it delivers 17% of the fuel. Now coming to next slide, what is advantage and disadvantage of biogas? My next slide. Let's talk about what is some advantage of biogas. Biomass is always widely available as renewable source of energy. It is carbon neutral. It reduces the over-reliance of fossil fuel. It is less expensive than fossil fuel. Biomass production add revenue source for manufacture. Less garbage in landfill. Let's talk about some disadvantage. Biomass energy is not as efficient as fossil fuel, and there is a main disadvantage is we are today we use only simple technology. We not use any latest technology to produce biogas in fast manner, and bioplant require a lot of space. Now coming to what is OTC plant. OT is coming to next slide. What is OTC plant? OTC plant, ocean thermal energy conversion, in which we use ocean water for electricity generation. Now we discuss about the part of OTEC plant. We will have warm surface water which is on temperature 21 to 29 degrees Celsius and cold water on the depth of sea about 5 degrees Celsius. We use this temperature difference to generate electricity. Now coming to next slide, we discuss about some parts of OTEC plants. Here are some simple diagrams of OTC plant. Let's first talk about main part of OTC plant. We have an evaporator, we have a turbine and a condenser. Now we talk about how it is work. First, we tell about evaporator. Evaporator is a device which converts liquid phase into vapor phase, and turbine which consists of blade and connect with shaft which is coupled with generator and produce electricity. Then when coming out in condenser device which convert vapor phase into liquid phase by the help of cold water. We have two cycle in OTC plant. First one is closed cycle OTC plant and another one is open cycle OTC plant. Let's talk about closed cycle OTC plant. In closed cycle OTC plant, we use working fluid like ammonia. In closed cycle OTC plant, we use heat exchanger in place of evaporator. The work of heat exchanger is heat between ammonia and the warm water. Then it goes to turbine where electricity generated, and then it goes for condenser where by help of the cold water we convert liquid ammonia into then liquid ammonia sent again into heat exchanger, and this process is repeated. Let's talk about open cycle OTC plant. In open cycle OTC plant, we don't use any type of fluid. We only use warm water and use evaporator, which convert liquid water into steam and which goes to turbine, then condenser and further use. Let's talk about some advantage and disadvantage of OTC plant. Coming to next slide. Let's talk about some advantages. It is renewable and clean and eco-friendly. It requires minimum maintenance cost and easier for construction. Let's talk about some disadvantage. It is more expensive than fossil fuel, and its efficiency is very low, about 3 to 4%, and require high space for set OTC plant and require high voltage. This is all from my side. Thank you. If you have any query, then message into chat box.
Okay, thank you, Vijayant. And आवाज आ रही है? Are you audible? आवाज आ रही है विजयंत?
Yes, sir.
हाँ.
Yes,
Here
आवाज आ रही
now here three students discuss an energy side. All are nice presentation, and actually quantum mechanics deals with a probability of the finding particle because space and time. Are you audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Actually, basically, quantum mechanics deals with space and time coordinate. These are the 4-dimension coordinate system, and it is the probability of the finding particles. And to discuss certain classical mechanics to study within, or as we can say that Newtonian mechanics, to study the 3-dimension coordinate system, to exact position, velocity, time can be calculated on the basis of Newtonian mechanics. But we can say that is called 4-dimension coordinate system only for space and time. So the particle enter the velocity of light. To imagine that is called 4-dimension coordinate system because the earth and space correlated between them. So it is the first predicted by quantum mechanics, Max Planck. To some basic formulate, we can say that the photon particle injected to ground state energy level so that electron can jump from lower energy higher energy. Delta E बराबर E2 minus E1, that is called photon energy, and photon energy it is the equivalent to packets of energy. Then packets of energy, that is called quanta of energy. That quanta of energy, that is called electromagnetic wave, and this electromagnetic wave is equal to a 1 by epsilon 0 mu 0. That is the calculated value 3 into 10 to the power 8 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Now in these days, on the basis of Einstein's famous relevant of nuclear physics, Einstein's famous equation, E barabar mc square, so energy is converted into mass and mass is automatically converted into energy. So it means that is on the it is the example of hydrogen bomb and atom bomb, and there are the two process can form, nuclear fusion process and nuclear fission process. It is based upon, it is the example of hydrogen bomb and it is example of atomic bomb. Now that is called, finally we can say that to study in Hilbert space, because the Hilbert space n dimension coordinate space, because and that is called space and time. So it is not calculated in exact value. So only for because a person to move, not move in velocity of light, and only for the velocity of particles. In 19th century, the great scientist Albert Einstein, great scientist Isaac Newton. But in drastic change in quantum mechanics, all particles are possible. Subatomic particles, just like electron, proton, neutron, and subatomic particle photons. These photons are electromagnetic waves, and it travels on the speed of light, travels always the speed of light. Now, lastly, I would like to invite Miss Ayushi Prakash Madam and TPO KN Modi Foundation for vote of thanks. Ayushi Madam. Please, Ayushi Madam.
Wonderful presentation I have seen from starting till now. Here Ayushi Prakash from Dr. Kiana Might, and I would like to greet you from on behalf of Dr. Kian Modi Foundation to one and all present over here. First of all, I would like to give my vote of thanks to all the sincere person who joined us and made our presentation, made our webinar very successful. Thank you, Abhishek sir. You coordinated very well. I have seen your students, and your coordination was really.
Thank you, madam. Manish sir.
But due to, because we are running low on time, we will discuss it later. But overall, it was very good. Quantum mechanics relevant to nuclear physics and energy science. This topic is very relevant and very important for students. Abhishek sir, it was really a very nice coordination.
Okay,
Thank you everyone who has joined us, Deputy Director, respected faculty member, each students and faculty. Thank you so much.